We had a wonderful time last week in Indiana. We tried Skyline Chili for the first time and rode a historic heritage train through the Whitewater River Valley and spent the afternoon exploring the small whitewater canal town of Metamora. This week we are crossing the border into Illinois, where we will explore a couple of state parks, drive part of Route 66, and see what the capital city of Springfield has to offer. Look at this beautiful road we're on. This is the best road we've been on the whole trip.
Brand new.
Right around Indianapolis. Good job, Indiana. We made the long trek from eastern Indiana to central Illinois, where we settled down at Clinton Lake State Recreation Area outside of the town of Clinton. This is a large campground with multiple loops, a beach, boat ramps, and hiking trails. We loved our site in Loop D of the Ringneck Ridge Campground. We were right next to the prairie, where we had an excellent view of the sunset. Most sites here offer electric hookups with shared water hydrants scattered throughout. Heads up, these hydrants have a funky mechanism that can be a little confusing. We finally figured out that you have to pull down on this piece to keep the water flowing. But overall, this park was a peaceful and scenic place to unwind. There is this nice gravel bike trail that follows the park road from the campground down to the beach. There are also a few hiking trails in the park, including a short ADA trail through the woods and a 2.4-mile trail that passes a small pond and a quiet lakeshore resting spot. Just 15 minutes away is Weldon Springs State Park. This 550-acre state park is great for recreational activities including camping, hiking, fishing, and kayaking. We hiked the Lakeside Trail, which was a 2-mile moderate trail that circled around Weldon Springs Lake. There are several overlooks and small fishing docks scattered around the lake. We haven't had to deal with skeeters in a while, but they're everywhere here in Illinois.
Yep.
This was a well-shaded trail that eventually came out to this really nice Veterans Memorial. It was a fun hike to take the dogs on, and we were lucky we just barely made it back to the truck before a storm hit. Illinois is home to part of Route 66, which begins in Chicago and meanders across 8 states on its way to Santa Monica, California. The highway, which was established in 1926, was a popular westward route for migrants and road trippers. Travelers on Route 66 spent money in the numerous small towns along the highway, making many gas stations, restaurants, motels, and other businesses prosper. The highway was eventually bypassed by interstates and was decommissioned in 1985. Many businesses closed and small towns were completely bypassed. There has been a revival of many towns and businesses thanks to preservation groups and nostalgia for the Great American Road Trip. We decided to drive part of this highway and see some quirky Route 66 relics while we were in the area. After avoiding the rain and driving through a dust storm, we made our way to McLean, Illinois to start our journey. This is a small town with a small Route 66 exhibit. that features a gas station silhouette, the old depot, and an exhibit on the Dixie truck stop across the street. We then drove the historic Route 66 to the next town, Atlanta. This town is home to the American Giants Museum, which was closed by the time we got here, but we could still check out a few of the giants outside, including a Texaco man and a snurd. These giant fiberglass statues, known as muffler men, were very popular in the 1960s and 70s and were used to bring attention to muffler shops and other businesses along the highway. The American Giants Museum is a free museum in Atlanta that showcases some of these giants as well as other nostalgic statues. Across the street is the Bunyan Giant, a 19-foot tall muffler man holding a hot dog. It stood at Bunyan's Drive-In restaurant in Cicero, Illinois for more than 35 years and has now found a home here in downtown Atlanta. This was a neat town with an old stretch of the original highway, lots of cool murals, and the nostalgic Palms Grill Cafe. In the town of Lincoln, we saw this awesome restored Tropics sign. The Tropics restaurant was demolished, but this iconic sign was restored in 2018 and remains a Route 66 landmark. Next stop was the Rail Splitter, the world's largest covered wagon. It is 40 feet long, 12 feet wide, and 25 feet tall, and it's complete with a statue of Abe Lincoln in the seat. Route 66 is such a fun drive to take and full of quirky and iconic landmarks. Springfield, the Illinois state capital, was about an hour from our campground, so we made a day trip of it. Springfield is a small city, but it has a lot of really neat stuff. It's on Route 66, so there are some cool roadside attractions. There is also the Lincoln Home National Historic Site, where you can tour the home Lincoln and his family lived in for 17 years. Other Lincoln-related sites in Springfield include the old state capitol building, the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum, and the Lincoln Monument, which is the final resting place of President Lincoln. Before our Capitol tour, we had brunch across the street at Boone's, where Keisha ordered the haystack, which had eggs, chorizo, and sausage gravy covering potato coins and jalapeno cornbread, and I ordered the breakfast tacos. Everything here was fantastic. After brunch, we walked to the Capitol building, which offers free tours that take you to the House and Senate galleries, as well as the old Supreme Courtroom. Self-guided tours are allowed, but you can only remain on the first floor, so you might as well hop on the guided tour. This Capitol was completed in 1888, costing $4.3 million to build. It is a beautiful building with a 405-foot dome, 74 feet higher than the U.S. Capitol dome. The north wing of the building was being renovated during our visit, so we were unable to see the Senate gallery. However, this Capitol was still very much worth a visit. After touring the Capitol, we drove to the Dana Thomas House in Springfield, which is a house designed by the famous architect Frank Lloyd Wright. Tours of the house are free, but should be reserved ahead of time, with only 15 spots available on tours. Photos and videos are not allowed inside the house. Springfield philanthropist and socialite Susan Lawrence Dana hired Frank Lloyd Wright to design this home for her in 1902. Wright was given a blank check and designed this massive 12,000 square foot home complete with 3 main levels and 35 rooms. The house has the largest collection of art glass doors, windows, and light fixtures designed by Wright. On our tour, we learned the history of Susan Dana and the house, while walking through several rooms on varying elevations, including the reception area, master bedroom, musicians' balconies, gallery, library, and we even walked through a hallway containing a bowling lane of all things. The house is full of beautiful art glass and 100 pieces of original furniture, and features 2-barreled ceilings as well. It is a beautiful house inside and out, and it is definitely worth a visit. Springfield was a fun surprise. We didn't realize there was so much to do here, and a lot of it is free. If you're traveling in Illinois and looking for a cool spot with tons of history, look no further than the capital city of Springfield. This week was a fun mix of nature, architecture, and Americana. We had a fun week in central Illinois, driving down the Mother Road and visiting the state capitol. Next week, we'll be traveling by train, boat, and automobile in Chicago. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next stop as we wander America. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.
Phineas emerged from his injury with the mind of a sociopath. They describe him post-accident as a lazy slob, a total bully.
And got the waterfall with the cool looking background. Woohoo! Yeah.